All right, today we're diving into a Korean drama that has pretty much emotionally wrecked everyone who's watched it, Move to Heaven. Look, if you've heard anything about this show, you've probably heard one piece of advice. Have a box of tissues ready. So let's get into it and find out why.
So, really, what are you getting into with this show? Well, this comment from a Reddit user it says it all. I cried every single episode. Every single episode. I mean, wow, that pretty much sums up the show's reputation, right? It's an absolute emotional gut punch. So the big question is, what is it about this series that gets to people so deeply across the board?
Okay, so let's break down the story. It all revolves around a young man named Han Go-ru and this really unique, kind of quiet world he shares with his father. So our main character, Goro, has Asperger's. But what's so amazing about the show is how it frames this. It's not a limitation at all. It's basically his superpower. He has this almost photographic memory and an incredible eye for details that most of us would just completely miss. And these skills, they're absolutely crucial for what he does for a living. His unique way of seeing the world, plus this really deep love he has for sea creatures, especially stingrays, that becomes the lens for the whole story. So Giru and his dad, they run this little family business together. It's called Move to Heaven. And their job, well, it's something you've probably never even heard of before. It's really, really unique. They're called trauma cleaners, but listen, their work goes so much deeper than just cleaning. You could almost call them detectives for the soul. Their real job is to go through everything a person leaves behind and piece together their final story. The one that was never told. And they have this very specific, really respectful ritual for every job. It's a 3-step process. First, and this is so important, they don't just start cleaning. They begin with a moment of silence to pay their respects. After that, the detective work starts. They meticulously go through everything, trying to understand who this person was. And the whole thing ends with this incredibly powerful gesture. They fill a special yellow box with the most important items, the things that really capture the essence of that person's life, and they deliver it to the family. Okay, so the relationship between Guru and his father, it's just the absolute heart of the show. It's so warm and gentle. His dad is patient, so loving, and he's his son's biggest protector. And it's this beautiful bond they have that makes the twist at the end of the very first episode just completely and utterly devastating. And this is one of those lines that just hits you like a ton of bricks when you look back. It's a total hindsight moment. In this really quiet, normal conversation, Guru's father says this, and then literally moments later, tragedy strikes. Yeah, the shock is just so raw. It comes out of nowhere. And this reactor's reaction, it's perfect. Oh my God, because that's what we're all thinking. Guru's father is just walking down the street alone, and he collapses. A sudden heart attack. There's no buildup, no warning, it just happens. I mean, the disbelief from people watching was just immediate, intense. The show spends the first episode building up this unbelievably kind, perfect dad. He's the anchor of the whole story. And then they just kill him off in episode 1. The emotional whiplash is so real. You just feel like screaming fucking stop, bro, at the screen. It is such a gut punch. It left so many people just completely heartbroken, like to the point where they actually questioned if they could even keep watching. You hear people say, I don't want to watch the show anymore, and you totally get it. So with his father gone, Geru is all of a sudden completely alone in the world. Or so it seems. That is until this estranged, totally unprepared guardian shows up out of the blue. It's his uncle, an uncle he has never, ever met. And enter Cho Sang. This guy is an ex-convict, a former underground fighter fresh out of prison. And he could not be more different from Guru. It's like night and day. Guru is meticulous, he's orderly, everything has its place. Sang-gu, he's chaotic, he's a total mess, smokes inside, the whole 9 yards. This huge, jarring contrast between this emotionally open, literal-minded nephew and his completely closed-off, rough-around-the-edges uncle, well, that becomes the core relationship that drives the entire rest of the show. So, I know what you're thinking. After a start that brutal, why on earth is this show so universally recommended? What makes people stick with it and push through that initial heartbreak? Well, let's get into what viewers have to say about it. Okay, so the praise is pretty consistent across the board. People rave about how profoundly it handles death and grief. The acting is just stellar, the cinematography is stunning. But what really stands out is how the show manages to be both incredibly heartwarming and brutally sad, sometimes in the same scene. And on top of all that, it teaches these powerful life lessons and isn't afraid to tackle some really tough social issues. And I think this right here, this gets to the absolute core of why the show connects with people so deeply. Is it emotionally taxing? Oh, absolutely. But so many viewers describe it as cathartic, even healing. It doesn't try to hide the pain of loss. Instead, it leans into it and finds the beauty and the meaning hidden inside all of that grief. So, we're going to leave you with this one final thought, a question that actually came from a viewer on Reddit. At its heart, Move to Heaven is all about the stories we leave behind, the stories told by the things we owned, the things we cherished, and it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What will get stuffed in your box when you leave this earth? What story will your life tell?